Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chatty Chonga.
Hello, welcome back.
Pardon our kind of scratchy voices. I feel like we're both kind of sick.
Yes.
For kind of a while now.
Yeah, but we're getting through it.
We're getting through it. It has been cold and rainy in Barcelona. Speaking of getting through it, speaking of health, I know that you are a big believer and supporter in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing that for
2 years.
2 years now. 2 years. And I know I've seen a lot of change for the better in you. I have dabbled in therapy too. And I feel like today we're going to talk about some of our strengths, some of our weaknesses, some of the things we want to improve upon.
And certain things that maybe we used to be like, but how we changed.
How we have improved upon them.
Yes, or what we want to change.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as the person who is in therapy, what are the things that you are, actively working on and, working towards and trying to improve on right now?
I think just being more mindful and trying to not focus too much on the future. I think that's one of my...
more living in the moment?
Yeah.
Working the present? Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
What is something that you want to work on?
So I don't know, you and I have talked about this a lot, how, I feel like in a lot of ways, I'm really good in life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I am very impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
I really lack a lot of, impulse control, to say the least. And I do wish I was better about that, as I've gotten older, I know my limits a lot more. I don't know about you, but, I do not get totally fucked up the way that I used to when I was...
No, same.
In college, whatever, I haven't blacked out in ages.
I don't know how people black out every time they go out. That's, a huge concern. For me, we had this conversation the other day about how I used to have a friend who, every time we're going out, they're getting so fucking messy. And I'm like... Mm-hmm. I don't mind taking care of someone who gets too drunk, or I get it when we go out, but it's every single time you're gonna get beyond hammered, you know what I mean? Yelling, being crazy on drink, come down. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of used to be one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely remember I would go out 4 nights a week. And I would black out probably 3 of those 4 nights. And super dark time in my life, extremely unhappy, going through a lot. And there was a reason why I was drinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I would just feel so destroyed.
Yeah.
I
think 2019, 2020... 2019, I was in that predicament of not being super into drinking itself. It was more of going out. And I had a thing with always wanting to go out because I was in a bad place. I didn't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And it's hard, it was hard breaking out of that cycle. So I'm not saying people who always get messy, you're a bad person or whatever, but I just would recommend getting that help. Yeah, because
no, I mean, yes, I agree. I think about the times where I have really been drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And really overindulging. And when I think about my friends, the people who I know who are in the same position, I have one friend who really comes to mind who I know does drink a lot, who struggles with that. And I know for myself and for this person, when we drink a lot, like, yes, we're saying it's to have fun, but, like, it's not. Like, it's because we're really struggling emotionally. Yeah. And it's to cover up. I feel like when you were drinking a lot, it was the same thing. You know, a lot of these people who I know where it's like, oh, like, I don't have anything going on, you know?
Yeah. And I think people don't recognize when they have the issue.
When I was gonna say maybe sooner. This is a self-read, but like, and it goes back to your original question, what would I improve upon in my own life? And I do say this impulsiveness, this lack of self-control, because I feel like the fact that whenever I go out for lunch, I say, let me have a glass of white wine, like, and then sometimes let me have another one. Mm-hmm. Is there something going on there with me? Like, I feel like there
questions that you're asking yourself.
I feel like there probably kind of is. God, I get baked every time I leave the house.
I love that you're just like, all the skeletons are out.
I don't know.
No. Let the people know. Be transparent.
This is a place for us to have an open conversation and to share it with the world.
I think right now, my relationship with weed and alcohol, like, it's not, how do I say this? It's like, I don't have an addictive personality, but I think I can make it like habitual easily. But it's not because like I need it, it's because it's like I'm like such a creature of habit, I think. And if I'm doing something like day by day by day, I'm more likely to be like, oh, whatever. But not to like an intense amount, or like, I think it's just easy for alcohol or smoking weed to be habitual for me. But I don't think like I'm like I need it, like I'm gonna be a psychopath or like I need it. It's like if it's something that like I don't.
Well, for me, I feel like I do in some ways have kind of an addictive personality. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I definitely form habits very easily, but I also quit habits very easily.
Yeah.
I feel like for me it's very much like a setting kind of thing, and if I'm in a setting where there is alcohol, I'm going to consume it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, if I'm in a place where there's no alcohol, like, I'm totally fine. And if I'm not drinking, you know me, like, yes, I drink a lot, but if I go a couple days without having a drink, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. But it's more like when I'm in a setting where there is alcohol or weed or honestly other substances, I have a really hard time saying like, no, you guys can do that. Like,
I mean, like, I think I can say no. Like,
you can say no.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. But yeah, I think I'm just at a point in my life where I also get like tired of things, and I was like smoking a lot like throughout my, through teens and 20s, and same thing with like drinking. It's like I wouldn't say I was like drinking a lot, but like there was many situations where I was drinking, but I wasn't drinking a lot. Mm-hmm. Like I would have like a drink just because I was in that like situation.
No, I completely agree.
But I wasn't like drinking like loads and loads and loads, and I'm not saying like one is worse or better, but I fucking forgot where I was going with this.
No, I do kind of feel like, for me, I don't want to be drinking as much as I drink. I don't want to be smoking as much as I smoke. Yeah. And I do really have a lack of self-control about it, where a lot of times, like, when I'm awake, before you wake up, and I smoke, like, I won't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, like, no, tomorrow, like, this morning, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna get work done, I'm gonna work on my project, whatever, like, and then I'll get out of bed and I'm like, no, I'm gonna smoke a bowl, and then I'll go work. Like I'm gonna smoke a bowl, and then I'm gonna.
But it's easy to do it like if you do it every morning.
Exactly,
you know what I mean. So you're just like, okay, it's not my morning if I don't do this. Exactly. Thing. And it's the same thing with coffee too. Yeah. Coffee, like anything, like it just becomes part of
your everyday habit. Yeah. I know, and I do really feel like that. Like, same with drinking. You know, I'll go out and I'll say like, no, like I'm not gonna have a glass of wine. I'm not gonna have a cocktail, whatever. And then I like sit down and I'm like, tonight when we went out to dinner, I really said like, no, like I'm not gonna have a drink. I feel sick. I don't need to drink more. And then I got to the table and I was like,
but you were fine.
Oh, I was fine. I only had one drink. It's not like I went crazy at all.
Yeah.
But I was very much like, no, like I don't want to drink. I don't feel good. And then I saw the cocktail list and I was like, okay, well, I'll have just one. Because I know you're going to have one. And everyone around us is drinking. Yeah. And like, you know, I don't want to be the one who's like, no, I'll just have a water, please.
Yeah, why? That's fine.
I mean, it is fine. Yeah. It is fine. I get that. But I understand that, but I need to like practice it more.
Rerouting to the conversation that I forgot about.
Oh my God.
Because I was thinking about it. I was like, no, that's so annoying. I was talking about how I just did so much of like something, like going out and like, same thing with weed. Like, I'm not over it. I'm not like, oh, this is so dumb, but I'm like, I don't.
You don't crave it, but it's like you've been there. It's not an interesting experience anymore.
That's why there's like a lot of times, and I feel like even you two, we're just like in a really social setting, like big social setting, and we're just like, I'd rather not be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
I mean, there's a lot. I'm gonna be.
How do people like party and like club every single night? I don't know. No, like literally, I don't know how you do it. Cause I go out on like a Saturday, I go hard. I'm dead for like 3-4 days.
3 days afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm not dead for like 3-4 days afterwards, but I'm just like, my social battery is dead. You know, like I don't need to talk to that many people. I don't need to be around excuse me.
Coughing in the podcast.
I know. 300 other gays. Yeah. 1, maybe 2 nights a week max for me. This dude I'm talking to, he was saying he goes out 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
What? Like, how do you do that?
How are you alive?
Yeah.
No, that's not real.
I mean, maybe you don't go super hard. Maybe you're just like sober partying or almost sober partying, but especially here, if I'm gonna be out until 6 o'clock in the morning, I need to be fucked up for that.
I agree.
I'm not staying up until 6 a.m. if I'm sober.
I couldn't. I don't know people like this. Like go out till 7-8 o'clock in the morning. I don't fucking think so. I'm going home. My limit going out is 5-6 o'clock in the morning. 6 is crazy. Like, yeah, 5. I'm like I'm 6. Done with the night. I'm done with the night.
No, like I'm gonna be totally honest.
To be home at 7:30, 8 a.m. is like so crazy.
No, I was gonna say I'm very down for the leave the club at 6, get home about 7. Like get home 6:45, 7. Like
But I've done that and it's just no thanks. But you know, good times.
Exactly.
Back to our weaknesses and our strengths.
So we did a weakness. What do you feel like is one of your?
I feel like that whole conversation was a bunch of weaknesses.
That was just a series of our.
Another is.
Well, no. Do you want to do another weakness or do you want to do a strength?
Oh, like go strength and weakness.
Yeah, let's hear a strength. Let's do a positive now.
Okay, I think I'm a very loyal friend. Like, I'm a very, like, die-hard, like, I'm gonna stand by you forever friend. Like, in terms of, like, I just show up for my friends and I hype them up. And I feel like I'm very, like, that's my bestie. Like, no one else.
I agree with that. You're a very good friend.
I feel like I try my best, and I fight so hard. I just could never be, in competition or at war with like my friends. Like how people just like they're besties, like they're just fake friends. Like I couldn't do that because I'm not fake with any of my friends.
I struggle with that a little bit sometimes. Like not to a very intense level, but like.
Do you like question your friendships a lot?
Not really. It's not like I'm questioning. I mean, like.
Girl, we're talking about positives.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're taking it down a dark road.
You're about to go. You're like, I struggle with you're positive.
No, it's not that I struggle. Like, I feel like I'm also a very, very loyal friend.
Mm.
Like if we're girls, like I'm a ride or die 100%.
Oh, 100%. Love that.
100%.
I'm my friend's biggest fans.
Yeah. No. Like I don't know. I guess for me, like when I say like I struggle, like sometimes I question other people's relationship with me more than my own relationship with other people.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll be like, wow, like this person, like we're such good friends, and I'll be like, do they feel the same? Like, I would do this for another person. I treat them with a certain amount of respect. Like, do they? Like...
Yeah. I think I used to do that, like, a while ago. And I think it's just, like, a feeling. More than anything. Like, it's not even a thought. Like, to me, it's like, I know this person's my friend because you just never have to, like... question it as much. I mean, you're always gonna question like any relationship, but you're not gonna ever question it as much. You're just like, oh, like they do mean a lot to me because A, B, C, D. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I feel like I have also had situations where like a friend will like prove how good of a friend they are to me. Like they'll do something sometimes without even realizing it, really, where I'm like, wow, like you just showed me that you really are such a ride or die, and like that's one of the best feelings for me.
I love besties.
Exactly.
No, like everybody on this podcast or whoever's listening, sorry, you need a bestie. Like, do not invest your time in these like going out surface level, like hook up, whatever friendships. You need that one person you can go to tell everything, tell your secrets, what you're struggling with, whatever the case is, but you need at least one person in your life you can rely on. And that sometimes can be family. Like I know people who will only go to their cousin or siblings or whatever, and that's not wrong, but like if you don't have that connection with your family, you need at least one friend you can like
tell anything to.
You don't want to hold that. You don't want to hold that. It's not healthy.
I agree.
Yeah, just get someone. You need a bestie. Besties are like, it's a red flag, especially in dating, if someone's like, oh, I'm not really friends with anyone, or like, I don't have a best friend.
I don't have a best friend.
I'm like, why don't you have a best friend? Like, what? That you need one?
Yeah.
What? And I know like everyone's different. Like I'm like, it's such a red flag. I think it's because I'm so close to mine and I talk to mine about everything. I'm so open that I'm like, nah, you need that. It's healthy. But anyways, off the topic of being a good bestie, what is another positive?
I think one of my positives, and I've been told this by many people, is that I can like kind of get along with anyone and do really well in any social situation. Like I'm like very adaptable and versatile and like, I'm always, everywhere I go, I'm always able to like meet and connect with people.
That's a good trait to have.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I think about like from these different extremes that I've been in, like fucking dive bar in Bumblefuck, Texas, or Oxford and Cambridge Club in London. Like I'm equally comfortable.
Yes. You can be a chameleon.
I'm a Gemini. It's my thing.
That's your thing. No, I think that's such a good trait to have. I think sometimes I struggle with that though, because I feel like how do I say this? Like, I just feel like I have a big personality, and to try to, like, what is it? Like, not restrict it. What's the word I'm looking for?
How do I say this? You have a very New York personality, and New York personalities do not work everywhere.
Yeah.
You are, like, a true New Yorker, and that's great. But
I love being a New Yorker.
Exactly. But sometimes, and some places, people don't always get along with New Yorkers.
Well, it's not that. I feel like a lot of people are super... I'll be real. Like, people are just so, like, passive and fake that I'd rather just, like, not want to, like, entertain it. So I sit there, and especially when I get turned off with someone, like, I will sit there, and you can just see it on my face and my tone. Like, why are we talking? Like, I just don't... Like, when someone's, like, being weird or disrespectful, I just... Or, like, just creepy. Like, I don't want to hang out with you, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel like for you show on your face so clearly.
Yeah.
When you do not want to be involved with someone and you do not want to talk to someone, like...
This is like a good bad trait to have.
See, I will say for you, like, when we go out together sometimes, like, it almost becomes a bad thing because you make it so obvious that you don't want to talk to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And me
But you do that beforehand. Like, no. When you're in a mood, you already have it on your face, and it comes across as, like, I don't want to be here, or, like, don't talk to me. Mm-hmm. I only get to that point if someone that I don't want talking to me is talking to me. I don't
realize how much of a don't talk to me vibe you give off.
I don't think I do at all.
I feel like you do.
I don't think I do at all.
There's a lot of times where you'll be like, let's go out, I want to go out, and we'll go there, and I'm like, okay, like, you'll just you'll sit down on the couch, and you'll just have this look of, like...
That's you, though. That's how we see you.
And that's also you.
I don't think it is as much as you, though.
Sometimes, I agree. I think that I'm much more intense like that.
Yeah.
And you aren't like that all the time. Like, you'll have that sometimes, and then you'll, like, be at a bar and you'll, like, start talking to someone more than I will.
Yes.
But you definitely also give off the, like...
Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. I'm looking at my phone. Like... Yeah.
I guess it just depends where I am. I just want good vibes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess that's one of my bad traits is I'm a nice person, but I think when I'm moody, it, like, you could just see it on my face.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is, like, you will sometimes be like, someone will start talking to us, and you will start giving them, like, a lot of attitude, and they'll respond, and they'll be like, what? Like, they'll start acting weird.
Okay, this is gonna make me sound like a psychopath. No, it's not a lot of people. It's specific people who me and you already know that they're weird and make me uncomfortable, and you want to, like, entertain it. But like, I don't want to entertain it, so I'm just like, I'm trying to, like, end the conversation. Exactly. Like that guy, we went to a bar, and there was just, like, he was like some...
With these Italian people?
No, it was like a chef, and he was being so weird towards me and, like, touchy, like, some just crazy. He was a crazy looking guy, and then I have, like, the worst. I know I have the worst face. I'm like, why is he talking to me? He's just being creepy, trying to grab at me, and you're just like you just we're eating up that conversation.
I was not.
But you were talking to him.
I was
more
talking
than
to
I
him
was.
Because the thing for me is, like, it's not. And this goes back to what I was saying is my strength. It's like, for me, it's not like an, oh my God, I'm eating it. To me, it's like, it's so rude. And my, like, sense of, like...
But, you know, it's not rude. Like, this person is, like, being weird. Like,
but, like, my sense of, like, politeness, like, I'm like, oh my God, like, it's so improper and, like, impolite to, like, not not engage with this person, you know, like I'll make a little bit of, it's the same when we went to that bar with the Dutch girl and we were talking to those Italians. I was like, I don't want to talk to the Italians, but it would be so rude to just like ignore them and walk away.
Yeah.
And for some reason my brain is like, do the polite thing, even if it's a little uncomfortable, and then like find a graceful way to exit the situation.
Okay, I don't think it's graceful, but
I'm saying like for me that's what it is.
Girl, your exits are not that graceful. All you do is like, you want to just like leave.
Well, and let the conversation die naturally, I guess. Whatever, you know, like the chef guy was fucking weird. Like he is an outlier. He was an outlier. He was a weirdo.
Okay, so I want to stack up more strengths and weakness.
Okay.
So, weakness, back to weakness. Well, we're going too much strengths, like, we'll do a strength and then go towards weakness. Like, we just need to stick to a positive side to things. So, what were you thinking, or is another positive?
What's another
just positive?
Positive that I have?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very optimistic. I really, truly believe that, like, things will work out, things will turn out on the bright side. I think that I can get myself through any situation, and for the most part, it has worked. And yeah, I just feel like I'm someone who like looks at the world glass half full and kind of feels like they can handle anything, and with that mindset, I'm able to. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.
That's a good trait to have.
You know, like, I have moved... When I was 18, my parents put me on a fucking plane to Connecticut and were like, okay, good luck. You know? They didn't move me in. They gave me, like, a $50 Target gift card and were like, go buy, like, towels and sheets and shit. Like, figure it out. And I did. You know? Like, I came to Spain, like, all of this stuff, like...
No, I think you're right.
I don't know.
That's a good trait to have. I think another good trait would be, for me, I always think of, like, ones with my friends. I think... I try to create, like, I make sure the other person's, like, comfortable. I try to, I guess, okay, let me say this. No. When someone is being, like, super, but you're not, like, emotionally expressive and, like, have, like, deep, sad conversations. I'm saying, like...
What do you mean?
I try to, like, create a really comfortable space for people who, like, I have these, like, special moments with, like, deep conversations.
You're saying that I don't have, like, deep, sad conversations?
Well, no, because you said, like, okay, like, in terms of me saying, like, making another person comfortable. Like, I feel like I try to pay attention to creating a safe space for people to talk. But there's no, like, one term for it.
I think that... for you, yes and no. I think that for certain people...
Yes, it depends on the person.
It really depends on the person. I think that you are you are very good at being welcoming and, like, I
guess it just depends on the person.
I just also, like, I've seen you in so many situations where you're literally just like, I don't care about your problems. Like, it's not that deep. We don't actually know each other that well. Like,
when? That's more you than me.
I feel like you are
totally... That is so much more than you than me.
You are totally with God.
And that's your, like...
Why is he telling me all of this? Like, I don't know him that well, like...
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, if there's no, my biggest problem is, like, oversharers, like, is such an ick to me. I think that's so unnecessary. I feel like if I just met you, or second time I met you, you're telling me all your deepest, darkest secrets, and, like, you're spilling all your shit, that is so fucking, like... That's such a red flag for me. I'm sorry. If you can't keep your secrets, that means you can't keep mine. So I get so turned off with that. But I feel like when I'm really, really close with people, I really try to make sure they're comfortable and like, I try to create
they feel heard.
Space. Yeah. I feel like not a lot of people express their emotions and feelings.
I am bad about that.
Yeah, we'll go back. You're all over the place. We'll go back to your bad traits. You can start off with your bad traits.
No, I hate to say it, like, I do feel like I really struggle with emotion.
Oof. Let the podcast know how you struggle with emotion.
No, I do, and I feel like, honestly, like, there will be times where... Like, I can have deep moments. I'm not saying that I'm incapable of it, but, like, people will be trying to have a deep moment with me, and I'm sort of like, I don't fucking know how to respond to this.
Like, nothing?
Yeah, like, my mind goes blank, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, we were talking about this with Adele yesterday when we were listening to her music. Like, when she sings, the way that she writes, like, she has this emotional depth to her that I have never felt before. Like, she clearly just feels things on a level that is so much more than I have ever felt. And I'm not saying, like, for you. I don't feel like you're Adele level deep, but you feel things much deeper than I do.
Oh, 100%.
And there are times where you'll be like, hey, here, and I'm like, I don't know.
No, I 100%, I'm just so emotional. I'm like, but the same way I can be emotional, there could be like nothing going on, like no feelings towards it. It's like a very like hot or cold thing. And very specific things bother me that people do. It's not just like, this person just does this like one thing. It's like, no, they do this like little thing that like I don't even know how to like talk to them about. Yeah.
I mean, on that first part.
And that's why I think I'm not gonna be in a relationship for a while. Back to my bad traits.
No, like I know you and I have talked about this before, how because you feel your emotions more deeply and I feel them less deeply, like, you really save your emotions for certain people. Like, you do not get emotionally invested easily. Whereas for me, like, because it's not that deep for me, I get emotionally invested with everybody and everything.
See, I couldn't.
And that's the thing is, like, because it's not that deep, like, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, like, I mean, think about me, like, think about over this summer.
Yeah.
Think about the kinky dude. Think about the person who knew my dad. Think about the guy I had the flip. Like, all of these people I was, like, so into.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like, wasn't really that deep for any of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could have been, but...
I mean, it could have been.
I think that's why I'm so scared of getting to that point. And in most of my... After my first relationship, like, I've had a couple of these situationships where it's so good, we're actually getting along, and it, like, for me, it gets to that emotional point of, what, like 3-6 months, I start, like, questioning it, and it's like, wait, what am I doing here? And then it gets too overwhelming for me, and I usually either self-sabotage or I, like... just leave. I self-sabotage or leave.
You do.
Are you taking?
What?
I thought this was a photo shoot.
No, I'm taking a Snapchat. I'm sorry.
We're on the pod.
Okay, well, when my streaks is about to die... You were talking, I could be distracted.
Okay, but, priorities.
It's not like I ever listen to what you have to say.
Oh my god. So. Oh, fuck.
What?
What was I? Oh. So, in order for me to be in a... Yeah, I just can't imagine being in a relationship now. Because it's either, like, no feelings or feelings, and I'm scared to get to that feelings point again. And that's why I usually, like, dip. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
A little bit scared to get to that feelings point again.
But you were at the... I'm surprised you're still talking to your last person.
Why?
Because, like, it got to that point. And now it's just, like... Zzz, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I... See, if I got to that point with someone of, like, they dropped the I love yous... I want to keep going up. I can't have it go down.
Oh, no.
I can't.
And see, this is what I'm saying where, like, I don't feel my emotions as deeply as you do. And so for me, like, this is the perfect, like, bittersweet, sad, like...
I could never.
Like, all of it, like, it... Because at the end of the day, and I know it from the beginning, it was doomed to fail,
Then why do it?
For the emotional richness.
Oh my god.
For the emotional richness. You get all of these great feelings of, like, the butterflies, the cuddling, you
just love the fantasy.
I love the fantasy.
I don't like fantasy.
And I do feel kind of toxic about it because, like,
you say all this, but you literally want, like, a fucking husband.
You're right. I totally do. At the end, like, I do want that. But, and with this guy, like, I don't know if I would necessarily have married him. But.
Okay.
It's another question. But no, like, it's a lot of fun to feel all of these feelings, to have that. It's like an emotional vacation.
No, I get it. Yeah, I just...
And you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that because if I have feelings for someone and I get to that point where I'm like, hey, love you, yada, yada, yada. So what? We're going towards dating, like...
Oh, yeah, that seems...
Oh, also, I could not say I love you to someone that I'm not in a relationship in. 100% no.
I totally could.
No.
I mean, I've done it.
I know. I've never done that. And when people say I love you to me, like, there's been times where I've been talking to a guy, like, a month and a half, and they're like, I'm in love with you, yada, yada.
Okay, that's early.
Yeah. I'm not interested.
Because I don't throw around I love you. I was with this guy for 5-6 months before we said it. What?
Okay.
No.
I don't know, I just couldn't do that. I would have to be with them.
Yeah, I don't. It's not as deep to me.
Saying I love you to someone,
none of it is as
deep. It should feel deep for me.
It does feel deep. It does feel deep to me. But, like, deep for me versus deep for you is two different depths.
Yeah, your deep is like in a 5 feet pool, and mine's like the ocean. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I was like 5 foot pool in the ocean. Like, mine is like
a kiddie pool and
no. I don't even know the analogy I want to make, because I am emotionally deep. I have a lot of nuance and complexity to my feelings, and like I think for me, like, I'm just really good at detaching from my emotions.
I think you're in denial.
I think that this is one of the things I would talk to with my therapist if I ever got a therapist.
Okay, bring it to the light side. So one of your good traits, like, how do you think you're a good friend?
How do I think?
Or like, how do you think you're a good partner friend to someone? I don't know. Like, what was a moment you're just like, oh, I'm such a good.
I feel like I'm very supportive.
Yeah.
Girl, I've been supportive.
No, I think supportive and I would say you're a good listener.
I am a good listener.
Yeah.
I am. Like, I'm not always good at the talking, but I'm very good at listener.
Yeah. And you give like real advice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cause no, you give like the generic advice and then you go, girl, can I keep it like real with you right now? And it's just like, okay, what? And then you like say what you really have to say about it.
I don't know, like.
That's how I know you're just like, when you like emphasize it, like I've been friends with you for a couple of years, so I just like know you, but like when you pull the like, can I keep it real with you right now? Like that's when it's gonna get like
because
cutthroat like, juicy.
I feel like a lot of times, and it depends on the friend. Some people when they come like for advice, I think a lot of people when they come for advice, like they want reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like they kind of have their mind made up and they want to say like, I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And if they are doing the right thing, yeah, that's fine. And like, maybe even they aren't doing the right thing, but like it's their life and you need to support them. But there are also times when people are like making very clearly the wrong decision. And I feel like that's when you have to step in and be like, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, this friend of mine who you kind of know, I think. The one who wants to start OnlyFans.
Okay.
You know, he was like, he's like, I want to do this, but I don't feel attractive enough, and like clearly is doing this as like a way to get validation.
Yikes.
And I was like, no, you know, like, if you wanted to, you could. And he was like, oh, I think I will, maybe whatever. And I was like, okay, but like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
And before like, once it's there, it's there.
And that's what I said. I was like, before you do this, like, really think about it. Yeah. You know, if you do decide, because some people it's really great, and I was like, if you do decide that this is what you want to do, like,
we're pro OnlyFans, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Like, I have.
If you want to throw your butt, throw your dick, throw your pussy around on the cam for people, do it up. I support it. Whatever you need to do for you, do it up. Do it, especially if you have the body. Hey, you're not gonna have that body forever.
I completely agree.
Do it up. But
I mean, I have friends who do that, and great, like, good for you. I have exes. Yeah, like
yes, wait,
no, like definitely both, and
no judgment.
No judgment. Like
go off. Love that for you.
Get
I couldn't do it, but like love that for you. Yeah. Go off. I support it.
But also, if it's not something that you're like dedicated to, and if you are someone who wants to have a career in like
other things,
the public sphere.
Yeah, like I just think anything you do in lines of like, what is it like, even like nightlife, just in general, bartender, you know, sex work, whatever to whatever extent. Just look into it and really make sure like it's a good fit for you, and make sure you know you do your research and manage your time, and because you don't want to get involved in something that it's like a lot of dedication.
Kind of on the topic of OnlyFans, do you ever think when you're not as slutty as I am, but like
I'm fucking crying.
Do you ever think about how many people have your nudes?
Ooh.
I have sent my nudes to more people than I can possibly count.
We've talked about this before.
And like
I can't. I don't know. I don't really think. I feel like people do definitely have my nudes, and hopefully, you know, they don't share them, or whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But
to me, it's more like it. At the time, it felt so like innocent and fine, and like it still is, like, who cares? But it is only as I've gotten older where I'm like, damn, like, if I ever did have any sort of like
public thing,
imagine this took off and we became famous. Imagine I like decided to go like run for president. Imagine, you know, like,
I'm gonna let you know right now,
mm-hmm.
you would not win your.
I would totally win president.
No, you wouldn't.
When I'm older.
I almost said your name by accident, but I'm letting you know right now.
Why wouldn't I win president? Why don't you think I could become president?
There's many reasons why.
Is it because of my sketchy past?
I don't think you're fit to be. That's just another conversation, though.
Yeah, that's next week's episode.
Why can't I run for president? That's the title. No, I just don't think.
Okay.
But I would support you if you did it. Like, I wouldn't be against you.
I think that if
I'd vote for you.
I think that if I was running for president, I think that I would have a platform that appeals to a broad spectrum of Americans. I think.
Okay, we're not trying to sell your being
president
here.
This is for next week's episode. What do you feel like is one of your strengths as a friend and as a partner?
As a partner, I think. As a partner.
Not as a friend and
I think I am, as much as change is scary, I think I'm very accepting of change and other people's change. But what goes against that is I'm also like a little too outspoken and a little too critical, and I feel like someone's going down like a path that I don't agree with or something.
You say something.
I butt in and I'm just like, hey, like, maybe don't hang out with that person, or like maybe
don't do
this thing. Like, I don't think it's good for you. And, you know, that's just me being like, that's me being a good friend, but I know how that can translate to it being like annoying or rude. So I think that's like a good and bad trait to have, I guess.
So,
yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's like a good and bad one.
You tell people what you think.
Yeah. Like, being outspoken is a con and pro, I think.
I do feel like as your friend, it is kind of nice to have, because I know that, like, if I ever was totally, like, spiraling out of control, I do feel like you would be like...
I'd be like, hey,
get your shit together, what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
And I also think, and this is something that I respect from, like I have a handful of, like, besties, and I'm so thankful. And every time, I know that I could count on them because they just handle the situation and not even, like, telling me what to do, just being like, hey, so, like, what's going on? And then, you know, we talk about it, and they're like, maybe, like, don't do that. Like, and it's in a more, a gentle way, like, they know how to do it. I mean, they know how to, we just know how to talk to each other, right? Yeah. We're not going to be, like, down each other's necks because we're also friends, but I just respect, like, the way that, like, my closest friends, like, when I am going through, like, a rough patch in my life, they're just like, so what's going on with you? And then we just take it from there.
How you doing?
Yeah, that's why friends are
the
best.
Friends are the best.
Love my besties.
I love friends. I love friendship.
Friends are such a good time.
Yeah. Friends with benefits.
When did you make your first best friend?
It's a really good question. Can I like say the name and everything, or are we keeping it kind of secret?
Keeping it kind of secret.
So.
You can just say your age, like.
When I remember my very first friend. It was this girl who lived down the street from me, and our moms were pregnant with us at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, basically, like, from the time we were babies, like, we were growing up together, like, girly, gay, from infancy, like, together. Mm-hmm. And then I would say kindergarten. Like, I'm not friends with that girl anymore. Like, she moved, we parted ways, but like, kindergarten is when I was really like my first best friend who I'm like still in touch with today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's your like? Is that your oldest best friend as of now?
Yeah. Yeah, there's two of them who like we're still super close and.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I think my first best friends were. Well, my first like friend that I'm not friends with was this like. We always got put in a class together, like in elementary school, and we just became besties. And I would like, he was like a more on the nerdy side, so I would like stand up for him in little things, and just like we had like a little group, and that was just my bestie. I was very right. And then my two friends from 8th grade.
Okay.
Those were my oldest, and then I started. High school was like. I didn't have like. I had like one or two besties in high school, but I was closer with the group of people that I was hanging out with at the time, but they weren't my best friends. I was hanging out with people a lot, but I wouldn't consider them best friends. Like, I wasn't like super comfortable with them. We were just always like smoking, going out, all that jazz. And then it wasn't until I was like 20, 21, 22 is when I solidified, like, these are the people that they're my best friends, like, love them to death. And that's, I mean, as I get older, I'm willing to change that, or like if I meet someone else or whatever, but like as of right now,
those are your besties.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I had like, it was this group, there were 6 of us, and like we were all super close, and I definitely had people in the group who I was closer with than others who I would consider the besties, but like, I don't know, that was such a weird group of friends to be hanging out with. Like, not... Like, we got along really well, but it was, like, not a good group of people. Like, they were good, but, like, it was just, like... A lot of unhealthy shit happened, I think. And then in college for me was kind of what you talk about with high school. Like, I had people who I was really close with, and who I like would have considered best friends at the time, but looking back on it now,
they weren't best.
They were not, like,
yeah.
I was making do with like what I had, except for like a few people.
Besties are so important to have. Have you ever like like force yourself to hang out with like a group of people? Or like try to be cool with them and it just wasn't working out?
That's kind of how I would think about college. Like my roommates, like my group of friends was through my roommates, and everyone would hang out in our room, and this is like freshman and sophomore year at least, like everyone would hang out in our rooms. Like, I was kind of like forced to be friends with them. And we did get along. I liked them, but they were just like not people who I would have chosen to hang out with had it not been in this like very like specific situation.
Now you coughing up in the podcast. Damn.
I know.
No, I get that.
What about you?
What?
Have you like forced yourself to be friends with people?
Yeah, I think when I was like probably in school or something, you try to like be cool. Every time I tried, and I think it's even in my adulthood, like every time I try to hang out with people that are so different from me, it doesn't work, and I just feel like I'm being so performative and fake. And like even if they're super nice, like it's cool, but it's like it's not a match. And that's why when I meet someone that I really like, or like the chat is so good, I'm like stuck on them. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so rare. Like I'm just like, I don't usually like to get to know so many people.
Yeah.
Like I'm open to it, but there's a lot of things that I get the ick, and I'm like, oh, stop talking to me. That's just something I need to work on. My bad traits.
Yeah.
My good and bad traits. It's important to realize your weaknesses and strengths.
It is. As we've done today.
And it's important to do that. It's self-awareness.
Self-awareness is key.
Self-reflect, look, really dig deep.
It's like been a therapy session, basically.
What prompts you, how do you self-reflect to end it? We're going to end it on a deeper, big note.
Oh, really? Because I was going to make a joke about it.
You're going to make a joke of it?
No, okay, so, like, joke version, like, I get super high and, like, freak out. But I do, honestly, like, kind of, like, I do like to get high and, like, think about my life and where it's at and, like, really ponder, like, I've talked about it with you a lot. Like, I feel like my brain is just going, like, 1,000 miles per hour all the time. And it is very self-reflective, where, like, I am kind of constantly processing, like, where I'm at and where I want to be and where I've been and, like, how I feel about everything. Like, I feel like it really is a 24/7 thing for me.
I feel like the only way to self-reflect for me is, like, I have to talk about it.
Okay.
To some degree, whether it's, like, in my head or, like, I'm talking to people about it. And then I have to be, like, distracted. Like, I have to be outside. Like, the only way I can completely disconnect is, like, if I'm out by myself, like on my runs. Like, and that's why I think it's so important to run. My runs are, like, the only time I can just take a step back. And even if I'm so fucking overwhelmed, I'm, like, going over everything, and I just, like... But I'm so distracted by everything that I'm not having, like, an emotional response to it. I'm just, like, forced to really just, like, tunnel vision think about it. And then it just, while I'm running and I'm focusing on my breathing, like, it goes out the window.
Yeah.
Like, I still think about it and worry about it, but it's not, like, causing me stress. Or, like, worry or, sadness, anger. Like, it's just, like, I can put this behind me.
Behind you.
Yeah. And it might come back up. And I'm not, that's normal. But I'd rather that than sit on it. Because my worst habit was, like, or weakness, like, one of my weaknesses was I would sit on things for too long and never move on from things. And really just be so fucking pissed off about something that happened, like, 2-3 years ago. Like, I still can't get over it.
Yeah, you have to let that
I was
stuff go.
really, really bad about that. I've gotten better, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, that was shitty, but move on. Like, I'm just like, oh, that was shitty, but I'll move on because I have to.
Get over it.
Because that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, don't ever let. And my biggest thing, I don't hate anybody. Like,
never hate anybody.
Never hate anybody. Like, and it doesn't matter what they've done. Everyone goes through different things, has different relationships, experiences. I'm not to tell anyone what to do, but to sit on, like, anger is so unhealthy. Like, you're slowly like killing yourself by doing that. Like, the last thing you need to do is let someone else, say someone cheated on you, or there was a bad friend, or someone just did you dirty, robbed, whatever the case may be, stole your dog or something and got away with it. Yeah, you could still be mad at them, but to, like, hate them and be angry, like, no, you're gonna cut them off, never talk to them again. But don't waste years on your life.
Don't waste your time being bitter over it.
Yeah. Put that energy into something else. A better friend that won't steal.
A new dog. And a better security system.
But, yeah, on that note, I'm so sorry for...
I promise I don't have COVID. I won't get you guys infected. It's just a little cold. And allergies. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yep, we're on Twitter, Tumblr.
Share with your friends.
Leave
share
any
with your coworkers.
Any comments, any questions you have for us.
Let us know.
Really appreciate it.
And tune back in next week where you hear about my presidential campaign.
Okay. On that note, have an amazing weekend, everyone.